Guten Tag, ich begrüße Sie alle ganz herzlich zu unserer Vorlesung Blockchain. In diesem Teil werde ich mich mit Guilherme Machado unterhalten. Er ist Gründer von Axlabs. Das ist eine Firma im Blockchain-Bereich.
It's a Swiss blockchain development company specializing in Web3 infrastructure and tooling. They build developer SDKs, smart contracts, and the apps. The company offers services ranging from smart contract development to auditing to blockchain engineering, consulting for VCs and enterprises. And they also create various open source tools for Web3 development. Gil, thanks for being here. And did I miss anything in the intro?
No. I think you did it right. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice. So in the blockchain lecture, I talk a lot about the theory. So the last lecture was about wallets and seeds, how the phrases or these seed phrases work, the 12 or 24 words. So this is all theory, and you do lots of practical things as well. Can you show us what you are doing?
Absolutely. I think we've done like so many things in this past, let's say, 7 years of Axlabs that, of course, it have some things to show. Let me ask you, Thomas, like what will be the interest of the lecture? Is there any specific interest, like more like privacy, more security, more infrastructure, or everything as a whole in blockchain?
Ideally, everything. Just if you can go over the stuff
Bit by bit. Yeah.
Exactly. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So I will start probably with something that Axlabs developed in the past, which has a lot of appeal for end users. So because it's very hard these days uh, to justify the use of blockchain sometimes, because people think, oh, why do I need a blockchain? Why should I care? And I think like one of my answer to that is no, blockchain technology should not appear. It should be under the hood, powering like the use case, but the experience to the user should be very similar to Web 2. So in this sense, we develop something in the context of item systems. So item systems is basically a company where we embed a microchip into things, into materials. So for example, we embed a microchip into leather or plastic, resin, or whatever. And this microchip has the power to issue signatures. So like imagine if you come with your mobile phone and then get in contact with this microchip, which has NFC enabled. And through NFC, this communication of NFC, the microchip will issue a signature compatible with some curves like K1 or R1, SECP 256 K1 or SECP 256 R1. And then the issue signature with a proof that, and this can serve as a proof that a device, like in this case a mobile, got in contact with that thing, And so, I mean, this is it's not rocket science because this is done already, for example, in your biometric passport. So your biometric passport, they have similar technology as this, but the innovation here is that we are using this to power some use cases that can be used in combination with blockchain. So you don't need blockchain for this. It's basically encryption, right? It's cryptography. But what about if we maybe you go in your on a wall or in a location, and then you tap scan, collect the signature, and then you collect a lot of signatures, and then you can offload the signatures to a smart contract, and then like basically the smart contract will verify that signatures. that are coming from specific locations or specific things, and you're going to issue tokens, or you're going to issue access, to something. So this I think like is really powerful, and we deployed this solution in some places already. One of these places were in the city of Denver in Colorado. So in there, the use case is pretty simple. They wanted to incentivize the local community to go to shops like breweries or small shops. And then what we've done is we placed like a metal plate. We can see afterwards, but a metal plate, and we put it like in walls. And like in this, people will go on the streets, check a piece of art, a graffiti on a wall, and next to this graffiti there was like a metal plate with our technology, this microchip embedded. So people will come with their mobile phones, tap scan, collect a signature, and then if they collect maybe 8 out of 10 signatures or like the step scans, they could go to a brewery and get a beer for free, just to activate the local community. And this doesn't need any kind of expertise or previous knowledge in blockchain at all. And I think this is a nice use case that we've got.
And where is the blockchain involved? And just so for the students, so the signatures, the scheme, the K1, R1, so Bitcoin, Ethereum have the K1 ECC standard, and this is, I believe, not NIST standard. So currently hardware limit this kind of feature.
Exactly.
And you need to build hardware that supports this, which is not easy to get. So that's what Gil is doing.
Yeah.
And can you tell us where's the blockchain?
Where's the blockchain? Yes. So, for example, in this particular case, we offloaded the every time that you, for example, imagine if you go to the point of sale, like to the brewery, and then like they have a tablet, and then you can scan with the tablet this QR code that is generated with all the signatures. So me as a point of sale brewery, we're going to collect this, and then we'll offload the transaction to a smart contract, and the smart contract will, let's say, authorize or disauthorize the discount. And then, we in this particular case is not mandatory, strictly necessary to like the blockchain, but we did it because in the future we can gamify. We could have like a token, for example. We could say, look, we have this credit. You appear in the brewery this amount of times, and then these things will be on chain. And this can be also used. These points could be used in for other things, in the future. So this is like a nice, I think like is a nice use case that has some potential. For this interest, this how can I say, this intersection between let's say normal users and advanced power users.
Do you have pictures?
Yeah, exactly. I think there is in slide number 21. Yes, so like here's the website of one of our partners that we've done this. So can you go scroll a bit down, and you will see here like some pictures of artists that like they were using, and they're really happy with our technology because it brought like some public to their graffitis. Can you go a bit down? Go a bit down. Yeah, here goes. So like on the left side there is this plaque.
That one, yeah.
Yes, and this plaque is you have on the left the name of the artist, some description, and then like on the right side is a QR code where you could get more information on how to use the technology. So people usually, when they go to this plaque, they say, "Oh, there's a QR code. Let me, scan it." And then they scan it. There will like be a description how to use it. Oh, first tap scan it. Then you can collect some signatures in waypoints in this on the streets of Denver, and then you can go to the shops. It's a basic instruction. So then people can tap scan, We also develop, like, if you go a bit down, we developed this app in partnership with CLZ, powered by Item Systems, where you show a map where things are, and then people can tap scan, and then afterwards offload these signatures, to the local shops.
So I saw here.
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh yeah. So this is also another product from Item Systems. Is basically a ring. So we develop a ring. It's 3D printed, and then we embedded this microchip of this technology inside the ring, that people can get this ring for free, in events. And then basically with the ring, they can tap scan in point of sales, authorize collecting tokens, NFTs. This is more for we call events and activations, because this ring has very low cost, so it's resin, easily 3D print this. But you have like to embed the microchip there. We have to program the microchip. It needs to have like the key pair, like the public and private keys. But for this, each person receives this ring in let's say a conference. As you can see there's a booth from Neo, one of our customers. Yeah.
So that's the Neo blockchain.
Neo blockchain, exactly. And they wanted to showcase their technology, but using something physical, something that people will get and then tap scan and then issue transactions on chain. So what I've done for them is to distribute these rings, which we call one band. And basically this ring, you could tap scan and then collect traits for an NFT. So then it's very funny, because we distributed this ring in 2022 and 2023. And then like 2024 in a conference, people were bringing the rings because they knew that we will be, or Neo will be in the conference. And then we will bring the rings and say, oh, I have my ring here. Do you guys have any other activations or anything that you can do with the ring? And then we realized that this was cool, that people had the sense of stickiness, or this is something that they will collect traits of NFT if they do something. So yeah, maybe we're going to continue or in other events with the ring, but yeah, for now we are exploring other things like leather, putting our technology in leather, in seat belts, or in bags, in t-shirts. So yeah, and then you can enable this, how can I say, what you call a non-fungible item. So I think your students, Thomas, are very familiar with non-fungible tokens, which are NFTs. But we extend this concept a bit, that you have non-fungible items. So like that is an item with this technology that you can issue signatures on chain if you get in contact with the thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what are you currently working on? So this is a project from 2023, 2024?
Yes, exactly. I mean, we still, Axlabs is a co-founder in Item Systems as a company. Right now, actually, we are part of the team of Axlabs. We are developing another product. This is not part of any customer. It's an internal, which is called Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
Okay.
Cha-ching. It's like, cha-ching, this.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, you can go to one of the slides that I provide you, the Figma one.
Yeah. That one.
Yes. So actually, Cha-ching is a project that we are building with the. Actually, the product started in one way, and then it went to we had like to pivot to a more specific use case. So our goal is, because it's very ironic nowadays, foundations in the blockchain space, they use GitHub a lot for governance. So like FIPS or EIPs, Ethereum Improvement Proposals, or even BEEPs from Bitcoin, they rely a lot on GitHub, which is a centralized. It's debatable is it centralized or not, but it's a centralized infrastructure. And I mean, all these projects rely
Well,
on a centralized infrastructure,
yeah,
but I know that Git is decentralized.
it is. So in the lectures, I have this notion of distributed and decentralized.
Yes.
So distributed means just the infrastructure is distributed.
Yes.
The entity is centralized. It's Microsoft. And decentralized means also you have multiple actors.
Yeah.
Like the Git protocol, but not like controlled by a single entity.
Exactly. So that's a really good example, because that Chaching relates to that a lot, because we realized, look, Git, the content of these repositories, they might have a degree of distribution or decentralization also, because a lot of people go there and do Git clone, and you have the copy in your local machine. However, what is centralized in a distributed way inside GitHub, of course, is discussions and PRs, pull requests, and comments, and how the governance, or how these projects, these repositories, how the consensus was formed. And I mean, it's really ironic, Thomas, if you think about that. The consensus of these protocols, these standards, are doing in a centralized way, even though they say that, oh, Ethereum is a decentralized community, and we are censorship resistant and stuff. But if GitHub or decides to shut it down, or to do whatever with it, this history is gone. So, like, what we've done here in Chaching, we identified that there are some foundations, or there are some, not only foundations, but people that want to archive this. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is that we track and we archive governance repositories. Not only governance, we build this technology that can work in any kind of repository, but we're now focusing more in governance. That we archive this in the Filecoin network, where is they have a storage network, and then you can, how can I say, create these archives, which is incremental, and then people can go directly to Filecoin and see things. And who pays for that is basically who these foundations or these orgs that still want to use GitHub, but they want to have a copy as an archive, that something goes off, they have this, and they can reconstruct all these forums and stuff. So yeah, this is something that we're tackling here in Chaching. And another point is, by talking to some of the customers, we realize that archive is one part of the equation, but they also are interested about incentivizing reviewers and people to contribute, like on these discussions. So since we already track all this activity, why not also give points to whoever contributes to something? Mm-hmm. And that's the part of this incentivization of Chaching, that we are doing the archival, but then you can create rules where you say, if a reviewer reviews a PR in let's say under 1 week, you're going to receive some points. And these points doesn't have any kind of monetary value. We are not the ones deciding, to do that. Mm-hmm. But the foundations will decide to transform these points to monetary value.
Yeah, and it should be a bit more than the typical LGTM review. So it needs to be a proper review, then that you see you actually did some work. So probably this will be a bit challenging.
So we don't. It's kind of, it's not rocket science. Like we realize, for example, in reactions in GitHub. Mm-hmm. So if you have like some thumbs up, thumb down, or so, and then we assign points based on that. It's not like get it or not get it. It's like how many points you're gonna get based on some rules. It's challenging, but we have to start somewhere.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. So during the lecture, the students also, of course, need to implement a challenge task. They require to have hands-on experience, and they struggle with the developer experience, and they're working mostly with Ethereum. Yeah. So I told them, hey, Ethereum best developer experience. and it's actually far from good.
Yes, I agree.
How about
How
other
to improve that?
chains or how to improve that?
Yeah,
What's your take on that?
This is a really complicated and controversial topic because depends who you ask. People say no, it's already really good. Ethereum is really good, and I mean, there's things to improve, but yeah, I think it's good. But I'm not with the same opinion. I think there's a lot of stuff to improve, and I'm gonna give an example here. So I think like your students will relate.
Mm-hmm.
So let's imagine that you have a smart contract, you compile your smart contract, and then you have an API. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have an API, but you have to develop the front end, or someone else is developing the front end, like a colleague. So you have to exchange the API. You have to take the API and provide the API to the front end. And then, like, basically what people do is that either they copy the whole file,
Mm-hmm.
put it there, commit that, or maybe they just take only the method signatures, and put it there in the front end. Man, imagine. Let's look to Web 2. What is the analog of doing this in Web 2? Would be that if you have like an API in the backend, you have to go to the Swagger documentation and then copy something, copy to your code that you can interact with the API. So I think like this is a bit. I think this can be improved a lot. Maybe could even find a way like in the future that SDKs on the front end side could detect the types on the fly, but just by trying to query information from the blockchain itself, and then like fetch the types and then say, oh, okay, I'm gonna convert like this integer to the type that is required in a smart contract, something like this. So I think there's a lot of stuff that you can improve, but I think like it's very easy to criticize the developer experience without looking to the developers and to the mindset of the developers. I think that if you are a developer in this space, you have to dog food your SDK or your product because you have to make sure that is usable by other people and that is minimally usable by other people in terms of developer experience. So I think you have to come up with examples, and if the examples are too hard to develop, you have to say no, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add some more abstraction layers
Mm-hmm.
of other methods or other things to make it easier. But yeah, this takes time. It's a bit of a mindset. It's not that easy to do that. Sometimes it's boring. You need to be a bit passionate, to provide that. And usually developers they lack this touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
On put yourself on the shoes of another developer that doesn't know so much about the SDK or the library they're using. So yeah, that's my overall take on the developer experience. I don't know if you have other more specific questions, or I don't know.
I just saw or realized that when you take a look at that example, and this example is already, I don't know, 1 year old, maybe 2 year old, for sure it will not work anymore because something changed and it's kind of fragile. And so this backwards compatibility is not in the mindset of a Web3 developer, I
No,
would say.
no.
It's just go forward, forward, forward.
Yeah.
And lacks the.
Yeah, maybe what you could think also is that because before AI, we were trained to think about examples. So the more examples that we put out there, the easier for developers to understand about our library without having to read a lot of documentation. But with the age of AI, maybe this mindset, this thing also is changing a bit. Instead of providing examples which can be deprecated or getting outdated over time very easily, you can provide other interfaces like MCPs, or maybe, I don't know exactly, but AI friendly content that can be read by these LLMs and then can help you, you know, way better than than outdated examples. So it's a complex topic, but I think this is evolving. I think that I still have hope that Web3 one day will be um, gonna have like the developer experience as close to Web2, like
Mhm.
not exactly the same, but close to. But again, developers, you guys, should change a bit the mindset and should be aware of this problem in our industry. Yeah.
Okay. And one last question. I talked about hypes, about ICOs, IDOs. I talked about now also the NFTs and recently the meme coins. So what do you think? What's the next big thing?
Well, the next big thing. Well, I don't know what is the next big thing, but
Or what is important?
what I think it's important, or is gaining more momentum and importance, which is, well, it was always important, but I think recently people are realizing that is more and more important, which is privacy. Not exactly privacy, but a kind of confidentiality, how to compute things in a way that you don't disclose too much things, on to other parties. So, and there are some technologies that are, in my opinion, gaining momentum. Not not only because the price of some privacy coins spiked, recently. For example, Zcash. If you go to you see that this reflects what I'm saying right now. So if you go, Zcash is the number 13.
This one,
And in 7 days already gained 70%.
That's a lot. Take a look at the graph.
Yeah. So like you see it here, until October 2025, it was like $20, $30, and now it's like 600.
Yeah.
And not only Zcash, but other privacy coins also got this momentum. And I mean, I think people are realizing that because we're developing here the fabric of the financial industry, the next financial industry. And if you really want to have, if you want to enable some use cases, you need to have a minimum amount of privacy that you can not hide, but like suppress some information and then show some other information. And I always give this example. Imagine if you wanted to pay, if you're a company and you want to pay your team using only cryptocurrencies like USDT, stable coins, and then you want to run a payroll, like every month you just send to this address this amount of, tokens. I think like nowadays there is no connection between an address and a person, but you can, if you really want to, and if a government wants to, you can find ways to match, like centralized exchanges identity, and like, but
then your coworker knows how much
exactly,
the other earns, and maybe you don't want to have.
Maybe you don't want that. So I mean, you could,
or not among the coworkers, but among the competition.
The competition, exactly. About the competition, I think like this kind of use cases needs to be enabled on chain. I'm not saying that we should hide everything and that law enforcement cannot have any access, and like, I mean, of course, that's a different level of discussion. But to enable simple use case of a payroll on chain, you need to have a way to do that. And right now is a bit difficult to do with Ethereum or Bitcoin, this kind of thing.
That's right. And so do you think this is the use case for Zcash, or I mean, there have been like the pardons from Trump. Sisi, the founder of Binance, he was pardoned by Trump. Many others have also been pardoned by Trump. I think also Arthur Hayes and
Yeah.
also Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah.
All of these. They were actually in prison. Now they're free. I see the use case that for the payroll, but there are also other use cases.
Which are like that we're going to track bad actors. I understand. I think this is a very, very difficult and complex discussion to have in society. But I tend to look on the positive side of things. I want to have this use case, and I would use that. If bad actor is going to abuse that, of course you need to have some mechanisms to maybe, separate, the bad actors and the good actors. But I think the bad actors will be always there. Like in the Swift, in the banking industry now.
Yeah, if you have bad actors and they want to do something that's shady, they will do it no matter the technology. And I think the payroll use case is quite good because I don't want my neighbors to know exactly how much we got from where. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I think like this one, in just to complete, just to give another perspective of something that is coming up is also confidential computing. Confidential computing is that doesn't relate directly with blockchain, but there are technology like fully homomorphic encryption, multi-party computation, MPC, zero knowledge proofs. That if you combine all of them, you can compute an algorithm in a machine. And during the computation, the data doesn't need to be disclosed at all. So, I imagine in a future where LLMs, they will be running in data centers, and there will be 100% guarantee that your query will not be disclosed to the data centers. We are very far away from this yet. They're, full homomorphic encryption in this stuff. It's really, there's a performance problems. It's not usable for this right now, but I think I see this coming and gaining importance, to the future. And I have one more thing that maybe is interesting for the audience. I'm kind of against of the use of TEEs. I don't know, Thomas. Maybe your students are not really familiar with that, but TEEs is also something on the context of privacy enabling. Where TE is a trust execution environment, where imagine having a server where we have a hardware module where you can run things in this module, which will not, the data or the computation running in this hardware will not going to be leaked, outside. So TEs are a practical solution nowadays, but I've been talking about this for a long time in my X account, and I think that's not a solution because recently, 1 week ago, there was 2 hacks, really major hacks. If you want to search about them, it's like TEE, Intel. So this is like a research that proves that some data can get you can get access to some data that was computed in TE, and I mean this is using the state of the art of hardware. So I mean nowadays there's no better hardware than this.
That looks cool.
And I mean they did this using very cheap equipment. So I'm gonna give you an example. Imagine that you are a big company, really corporate, that needs computational computing. So what do? You buy some machines and you put it in a data center. Let's imagine that this data center you don't control. Is a third party, is Equinix. If there is any bad actor inside the data center that knows that a particular hardware has TE, this bad actor doesn't need even to have any kind of permission on this hardware, in this server. It needs to be just needs like physical proximity, and then you can basically know everything that is being running inside these modules.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that's why don't rely on hardware, rely on math. This is one of my mantras. I know that this is like the most idealistic and difficult path on moving forward, but yeah, that's what I believe. So that's why full morph encryption, zero knowledge proofs, multi-party computation, in my opinion, is the future, and not tease and rely on hardware.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for these insights.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see blockchain in action with some physical items that you
Yeah.
can interact with, and also the outlook on how it may look in the future. Also, your take on the developer experience.
Yes.
Students, of course, they also now have experience. We can then, I can gather the feedback, and then we can discuss again. Thank you very much for having taking the time.
Yeah.
And all the best for
Yeah.
Axlabs.
Thanks a lot, Thomas. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here, like to discuss and bring this industry perspective to students. I enjoy this.